at the end of the song, I was like, "Oh, guys, this is how I heard about this band," and I was trying to find, I guess it's like a reel or something on Instagram where you were like on the floor, like sticking the fork in the outlet, dude. Why can I not find that? Is it something that I just didn't type in right or something? What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the Punk Rock Review Podcast. I got a special guest today with me. This is Jimmy from the band Scooped Up. If you're familiar with my channel at all, you've been hearing me talk about it for the last few days. But what's up, Jimmy? How you doing, man?
Good, man. How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. I'm doing pretty well. This is I'm actually really excited to talk to you because okay. There's a video that's going to drop tomorrow morning where I'm going on about your latest video. What was the song title? It was
Joyride.
Joyride. Yes, thank you. That one. So I had that song featured in my live stream on Sunday night, and I wanted to do like a set alone video for it because I really do like your music a lot. And I at the end of the song, I was like, "Oh, guys, this is how I heard about this band," and I was trying to find, I guess it's like a reel or something on Instagram where you were like on the floor, like sticking the fork in the outlet, dude. Why can I not find that? Is it something that I just didn't type in right or something?
Yeah, well, it's because it's a really old video that we posted, like, I don't even know, probably a year or so ago. And so I'm running it as an ad now because for whatever reason, that ad is like perfect. Like, it's been converting like so many fans like instantly that if I had $1 million, I'd put it all into that ad right now. Like,
dude, that's amazing.
But you could find it still. It's on our YouTube. If you look on our YouTube,
okay.
you could find it. But it's like a year old. It's on our Reels page, but you have to scroll down. You know.
Okay, I'll find it eventually then because I want to show people on my channel like how it because it was so funny when I saw it. I mean, it's legit. Okay, I'm 42 in March, so I'm a little bit older, right? So when I saw that, it took me half a second, and I was like, "Yo, what is this? Like, this looks like something I'd be interested in." And then look, I'm not gonna lie, dude. The dig at MGK, I was like, I like this guy because
Thank you.
Dude's mad corny, but like, so that gave me what I needed to go check out your music. So,
well, thank you. Thanks for checking us out.
absolutely, man. So I've listened to a lot of music, a lot of punk rock, a lot of pop punk, and out of all the bands that are playing right now that I've heard, it's impossible to hear everybody, but from what I've heard, you guys are the most accurate like depiction of a modern band doing a sound from like the mid to late 90s, which is kind of what I've been looking for. I assume that's all by design.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, pretty much that's what I grew up listening to, and that's kind of what I wanted to emulate with my music because just like you, we probably have the same taste in music, but like that's why I make this music, and because I'm always looking for something that's fast and something I can skate to, really. And a lot of the pop punk from the 90s, late 90s and early 2000s, literally what was that flavor that I really gravitated towards. And like you said, there isn't a lot of newer pop punk bands that are bringing that old school flavor to the table with like a modern twist in a way,
I find that strange. Sorry.
No, yeah, and that's what we're trying to do. Is we're trying to bring that back.
Well, I mean, bravo, dude! You're doing a hell of a job. I've listened to because I just came across you guys like when we started talking. That was like the same like hour that I came across your music. I just have no filter, so I'll be like, "Hey, what's up? Want to do a podcast?" Because I'll talk to anybody, man. I love this. This setting is so fun for me, and so I've only heard probably 5 songs, maybe a fair amount, a few handful of songs, but they were all quality. Like I didn't hear one and was like, oh, okay, it was just these 2 that were good. No, everything I heard thus far was really, really good. And the full length is out on Spotify right now, right?
Yeah, it's on everything. We got it on vinyl and everything like that. There's 14 songs on that.
That's amazing, man.
I'd say everything from that and everything from 2019 to now is all really good like stuff that I would back and show to anybody, any new listeners. That's what they should listen to because we made an album before that in 2018. And it's cool for what it is, but it's more DIY. We've recorded it ourselves. It's not the best production, but there are some songs that still live up on there. But this new stuff is what we're really trying to push, and I'd imagine some of the songs that you heard are probably most of the ones on the new album or from our
Yeah,
last EP.
I'm pretty sure the stuff I heard was all from the new record. Okay, first off, how old are you?
I just turned 30 in May.
Okay, so you're a little bit younger than me. That's cool. That's what's up, man. So you're a grown ass man, though. You're not some kid. I mean, not that it would matter, I guess. Just an observation. But
I'm still living like I was when I was 16. But yeah,
I mean, I do a punk rock podcast. I have no room to speak about that. I just meant as in like you're not like a 20-year-old. So this is something that you've been listening to and doing for quite a while. I didn't know y'all had been a band for so long. I discovered that today. I was doing that video and I thought, holy shit, this video is 4 years old, and I was flabbergasted by it. So
so our first EP came out in 2016. That's kind of like when we started. And so a little backstory of my backstory is basically I grew up as an artist doing like graphic design and graffiti art and stuff. Like if you look, I don't know if you can see, there's a mural right there. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway.
Yeah, I can see it.
Like this and stuff. Like I design all the merch and all this stuff. And so I used to be big into graffiti art and graphic design and videography and photography and all this stuff. That when I started, like I didn't pick up a guitar until I was 21. So when I started making music, literally when I started the band, I was able to bring all of these extra elements into the band to make it look more professional than it ever was. Yeah. So we shoot and edit all of our music videos ourselves. We do all our own art, all that stuff. And so yeah, I just use all that stuff to elevate the band and make it look more professional than it is really. But yeah, we've been around for a little while. Now we're starting to make some steam now.
Dude, that's excellent, man. We have a lot in common, actually. I didn't, obviously I didn't know that because we just met, but yeah, I do all my own everything, man. I write my own videos, I film it all, edit it all my thumbnails. I do my own merch. I printed this shirt the other day. Like I do everything myself. I don't quite have the same sheen that you've got. We have a different style, but I do the same stuff, man. And I'm not a tech guy, so it gets people. I have a small label, and bro, I can't tell you how angry these people get with me when they're like, "Hey, we need like this artwork," and I'm like, "Oh, just give me the address." And they're like, "What do you mean the address?" And I was like, "Well, you need the artwork. I was just going to send you like the artwork." And they're like, "No, just send it to us digitally." And I was like, "I don't have it digitally. It's like cut and paste. It's real. Like I've got the artwork here." I had to figure out. I'm starting to learn how to do Photoshop and stuff, dude. It's not something I'm super confident in, but I'm learning it. It is what it is. It's a necessity, but
that's what
everything you guys have.
YouTube's good for learning anything, man. That's how I learned most of the shit I know.
Dude, that's college, bro. That's college right there.
It really is, yeah.
Facts. You can learn anything on YouTube.
Well, it's funny because I went to college for graphic design, but when I went, I had already been doing it for like 8 years or something, to where I had already known it all, and I was basically the second teacher in my graphic design classes, like helping my fellow students get through whatever we were learning at the time. And so that's like when I would also like make our website for the band, like while I'm in class and whatever I could do. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Multitasking is important. Being able to accomplish in a bigger sense, not just doing two small things, but like going to class and being able to make that a function of your band's growth, being in school. That's a nice, I guess, byproduct of you being in school.
Yeah, but to go back on what you were saying, it's good to do everything yourself because you're saving money, and you also, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. You can't really always rely on other people to like get your vision across, and that's 100%. why I feel like that video that you saw gets our vision across so well, because it's just all like our personality just put into this funny skit that's to sell us, and it's been working.
Dude, I'm glad that I'm glad that you decided to put. I try to tell people a lot, man. Be it a band or somebody that just does art or whatever. I'll tell them like, how much money are you putting into your Instagram ads? And they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, I have a small DIY label in a record store. I don't really need any help because it's all word of mouth, and I do okay. Like I'm not by any means what I would consider like successful, but I do fine. But the moment I need any kind of boost, I just jump on Instagram or Facebook and do an ad, and I don't have to spend a ton of money either. And nobody is doing it. And I just don't understand it, because here's proof positive that it works.
If I had $1 million, dude, I would put it right into that one ad that you saw, and we would like blow up from it. But But yeah,
Absolutely.
since we save so much money on the stuff that we do ourselves, we're able to put a big budget behind our promo every time we put something out. So yeah.
That's awesome. So, did you guys release the album yourselves, or did you
Y-
do it yourself?
Yeah, we did it all ourselves. Yep.
Awesome, man.
We shot all the artwork ourselves. I graphic designed the whole packaging and everything, and we uh, saved up money. I took out a small loan, and then we got everything packaged and made. And yeah, we do everything ourselves. We shoot all the videos, we do
Dude.
all the artwork, everything. So
Yeah, I noticed that you've had a fairly large emphasis on the DIY part of your band. It says it on a lot of your promo stuff, like DIY pop punk. And I was like, I like this, dude, man. I didn't even know you already knew I liked you because I was like, you have the same mindset I do. That's awesome.
because some people might see us on the surface and think that we have a label behind us doing all this stuff for us, you know, and it's a more personal thing when the consumer sees that it's all us. You know what I mean? It's not like there's no fakery. Like, you know what I mean?
I 100% agree with that. When I started doing my shirts, that was literally the reason I started doing it. I was like, well, I could charge a little less, make the same money. And when they order something from me, it's like a piece of artwork because I'm making it. Every time that I get an order, I'm the one that screens it. I'm the one that packs it. I'm the one that ships it out. So they're
Mm-hmm.
going to, so I'll put little notes in there and send it out. And I send like, whatever. I've sent tapes for free. Like, here, have a tape, dude. And,
Yep.
whatever. And it does matter to the people that you ultimately become a fan of yours. It really does matter. I think what I'm fixing to start doing, it's hard to figure out because a lot of people don't have tape players, but my label right now is mostly tapes. I'm working on my first 1.5 vinyl releases right now. It's a work in progress. We'll have it pretty soon, but I like to make mixtapes and just throw them in with like merch boxes. If somebody orders 2 or 3 shirts, I just make a mixtape, put all the songs in there because I listen to a lot of stuff that somebody that's 25 may not have ever heard of, and I can
Mm-hmm.
tell by what they bought, like what they're kind of into. But yeah, it's
That's really cool. Yeah, that sounds
yeah.
sick.
Where did you guys come up with the name Scooped Up? It does it have a particular meaning, or is it just something you thought was funny, or where did the name come from?
Okay, so we were just like for a while we were just kicking around names that trying to think of something that would fit. And my main goal was I wanted to come up with something that was kind of already like a saying that people would say, so that it'd be kind of familiar when you heard like, oh, have you heard of Scooped Up? You kind of think to yourself, huh? I think I maybe, oh, that's a band. Like
That's smart.
you've heard Scooped Up said so much in your life to where you're like, oh, that's a band. Let me think back, and maybe the times I have heard the word Scooped Up said was someone talking about a band. Anyway, I had friends that had bands that had absurd names, and like it was the complete opposite. And so like here's one for example. Like this isn't a real band, but like imagine someone's like, you ever heard of the band Infected Hickey? Like no, never. I've never heard that put
Right.
together in my life. But have you ever heard of Scooped Up? Even if you never have, you're like, huh, maybe. It's more familiar in a way, and it's more and it clicks because of that. And for
And it's
whatever reason, it wasn't taken, and it also kind of just like fit the vibe of what we were kind of doing. So
I I like it a lot. I think it fits well aesthetically, the name and the imagery that you guys use.
mhm.
And it's kind of freaky the amount of shit we have in common, bro. Like legitimately, like my shirt company is called Knife Crime, and it's because it's a commonly used phrase in the UK. And I was like, oh, I'll start a band called Knife Crime, and then I was like, I just don't want to have a band right now. I'm too old for that. Like I have a family. I'm happy with what I'm doing. But I
Mhm.
thought I already had like a logo and everything thought up, and I was like, I'll just do a t-shirt company, and that's when my own merch stuff. That's the inception of that. But it was because of the same exact thing. I was like, man, it's such a easy to remember, commonly used phrase. Now it's a little
Mhm.
different. Your mind's a little more offensive, I say, to some people probably, but that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good tactic in marketing. See, like my
Yeah,
my my background is graffiti, so like um, getting a name out there. I used to get a name out there for no reason. Now it's the band, and there is a reason. So it was easy in a way
facts.
for me to rewire my brain and use my graffiti mind to market it in a different way, or.
You ever heard of a dude? You may not have. I would say even likely haven't. But a guy named he goes by Give Up. Is a graffiti artist.
Yeah, I do. I follow him. Yeah,
Oh,
he does
dude,
like
I've known that guy
stencils
for
and stuff.
yeah, bro. I've known that
Hmm.
guy for 25 years. That's the homie right there.
Where's he
Uh,
from? Where are you from?
I'm from Houston. I think he's out of. I don't even know. I'm not gonna say where I think he's out of right now, but he's not here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm from Connecticut.
That's what I thought. I was thinking you were from the California because based on the imagery and the sound, kind of. But I saw on I don't know, it might have been on Instagram that I saw Connecticut on there. But yeah, I picked up his book, man. It's so weird looking at this because so many of these images I've either been in the room with them, but so it's cool, man. Whenever I was younger, I had a label when I was young, and I did like two or three releases. I think two actually came out, and the third was working on, and just a bunch of personal stuff happened. But he did all the artwork for me. He did all my promo posters and stuff, and I had a bunch of his original art, a bunch of like one of one prints and posters that he made. And I lost my house in Hurricane Harvey a few years back, and that's the one thing that I think about the most that I lost, besides like personal paperwork and stuff, was that I lost all that artwork from him. It kills me, man. But
yeah, that sucks. My basement is flooded before, and we lost like a ton of records. And so yeah, I know the feeling.
Dude. Yeah, that's the worst, man. I mean, we're not special, but dude, tens of thousands of families were without home for a long time. So we were really fortunate. We had friends and family. I'm not trying to get any like sympathy votes from anybody, but it just happened to be that you'll understand that conversation because you know what that artwork probably meant to me. And oh, dude, it crushed me, man. But that's awesome. So when you did graffiti, what was your favorite style of stuff to draw or paint?
Well, I'd mostly do like characters and stuff. I would hardly like I would do letters a lot, but like I got way more out of doing like actual art and doing characters.
Nice.
And like this actually. Here we go. That's a painting that I did on a wall, but then I ended up turning it into a digital artwork that we then turned into this this drum head. That's just like a duck with a bomb on it or whatever. And
Dude,
then here
awesome.
Here's another painting on my amp. If you could see that.
See that reminds me of some stuff I used to do when I was younger. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, never mind. You go ahead.
I was just going to say, when I was young, I wasn't that good at it. I wrote spaz for a few years with two Z's. It was very, very. It was like a $sign almost. It was a crazy looking S, but it was the best thing I ever came up with. I did it one day when I was kind of fucked up, and I just kind of wrote it, and it looked really good. And I was like, "Oh, my friend goes, bro, you are a spaz. You should keep that." And I just boom ran with it, but I wasn't ever that good. I was much better at coming up with stuff like this. This is not my design, by the way. This is a band. I just stole the logo because I like the band. There's a long story behind this shirt. Anyways, high contrast black and white stuff, cut and paste. That's where I started figuring out, oh, this is where I shine. I'm much better at like creating weird imagery and then like making shirts or making prints. I did a Rancid Out Come the Wolves like alternative art painting at my store. It's people don't understand how hard this stuff is, man. Just to come up with a good idea, it's really difficult.
No, yeah, that's what I love about being creative is coming up with the ideas. Like right now, I'm giving myself this challenge to make a funny video every day and put it on Reels. So that's kind of like every day I'm waking up trying to come up with a funny idea, and when I finally do come up with the idea and I go and I shoot it, it's just like such a relief and like a good feeling. And like all these videos or ideas would have never came up if I didn't give myself the challenge. So like it's real rewarding in that sense, you know. And same thing with coming up with paintings. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, challenge is important. Discomfort's important, you know, and that's what challenge is like making yourself a little uncomfortable and you're like, oof. You know, my personal challenge is weight loss right now. I'm trying to lose some weight. I've been heavy for like 10 years and I'm just tired of it. And so that's my goal every day is to get up and like not have Dr. Pepper with my breakfast, not eat a bunch of sugary cereal, not, you know, so it's tough, man. Whether you're creating a video for your whatever band, social media, personal stuff, whatever, or trying to lose some weight or trying to create art, whatever it is you're doing, man, if you set yourself a goal and you at least attempt it, you know, at least I feel like that's a win right there.
Oh yeah. It's really definitely fulfilling. That's for sure. You know?
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about your music because I don't want to, you know, I want to focus on that a little bit, man. Your band has a specific sound and style. I like the recording quality too. Like everything about it for me sent me. I mean, you'll see it. You'll probably watch the video where I review the song again, man. It's I was giggling the whole time, laughing and like bobbing my head because I was having so much fun. I don't know, man. I think you hit like a really good niche that's not small. I think it's there's a future there. And I was a little surprised I hadn't heard of you guys until recently, but that kind of happens, I guess. But
Yeah, well, we are still really small, but yeah, thank you. I agree. I think there is a big audience that would eat this shit up. Like, especially if we came out, if we were popular in the early 2000s, I'm sure we'd be doing pretty well. But it'd be different. You know, we would have signed our soul away, and right now it's all 100% under our own ownership. And
that's
so
the
yeah,
way to keep it.
yeah. Well, we're doing a lot now. The album has actually, you know, it's done a lot for us. Like our album release show, we like sold it out so much more than we thought we were gonna do. I was expecting like 80 people. We got more than double to come like throughout the whole night.
Hell yeah.
It was insane.
Dude,
Yeah.
I don't think that people that are what would I call them? Like just normie types that listen to just Blink and Green Day stuff. But and there's nothing wrong with that music, but like they don't understand how hard it is to get 160 people to come to a show. It's like it's hard enough to get them to watch a video, bro. Get them to get in the car and drive to a venue. That's difficult, man.
Yeah, I know. I was so surprised because the last time we played at that venue, the people that we got to go there was like 70 people, and that amount of people in this small venue was a lot. And I was like, yo, we were so stoked on that. I was like, watch, I bet you we'll get like 80 or maybe 100 for this next one. And the capacity of the venue is only 130, so we had it max capacity throughout the whole night. People were leaving, showing up, like it was insane. And
did you get some footage?
Yeah, the whole show is actually on our YouTube.
Oh, nice. I'll go check that out then. That's badass, dude.
Yeah, we played awesome. We play pretty much the whole album, and then we play all the old hits too. So it's the best like representation. It's actually the only full live show that we've put out yet, because everything else doesn't do justice, but this one does.
That's awesome, man. So what are your let's see, how do I word this the right way? In the next, let's say 12 to 18 months, so maybe by summer 2025, do you guys have any specific goals that you set for yourself as a band or anything? Or are you just trying to see where it goes and let destiny take control? Or do you have like specific goals you want to meet?
Yeah, definitely. We got goals and a little bit of both, but so we have like I have 6 songs written, but there's no drums or bass written to any of them yet. But we have that. So we have a little bit of a head start on this EP that we want to like put out early 2025, maybe the end of this year. I don't know, depending on how fast we get it all done. Sure. Along with like a music video or two, and probably put it out on like a 7-inch and all this stuff. But all those logistics are what is gonna make it take longer than we want it to. But I'm shooting for the beginning of like 2025, have like an EP out with more music videos and all that stuff. So that's what we're kind of working on, and we might even do like. I'm not even gonna say it yet because I don't even know if we're gonna do it.
Sure. But, yeah. Some things are better kept under the.
We got some big ambitions though for this next EP, and I don't want to just like say I'm gonna do it and then I have to be like, oh fuck, I gotta do that now. But like, I got some big ideas that I want to pull off.
I do that to myself a lot, bro. I'd be like, oh, I can do that, and I'll commit to something, and then like 30% like through it, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so much more work. My wife's like, but you do this to yourself all the time. I'm like, I know, I do it all the time. Like. Mm-hmm. The last quarter of 2023, I put out 4 tapes, bro, and I was like only gonna do 1, and I put out 4, so I was like just neck deep in like paperwork, contracts, printing stuff. I do these. Let's see, let me show you one. Oh, I actually have one right here. So every tape that I do comes with I don't know if you can come on camera. There we go. It comes with a pressing card, and so they all have their own serial number, and it's like watermarked on the back. It's just something that I want to set myself apart from like your average tape label that just goes, what's the cheapest thing I can do? Do that. I want mine to look a certain way. And we actually got a shipment today of the next release. It's on my kitchen table right now. I'm pretty excited. I didn't have a chance to open it yet. So, but dude, setting these lofty goals it's entertaining and fun, but it is stressful, bro. I'm sure y'all will make it though, man. Everything that I'm seeing is top notch, man. You got a fan for good here, bro. I'm telling you, whatever I can do to help, you let me know. I will absolutely promo the shit out of your band for you,
dude. I appreciate that wholeheartedly. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So, dude, where are you guys? Sorry, were you fixing to say something?
Yeah. Well, so like going back to like setting big goals, like this album was a huge goal for us, and it took us 4 years to get this out. By the way, yeah. So it's because of COVID. So like we started writing it, and then COVID happened, and then that completely like derailed my writing process of trying to write these like feel good songs you know, and I wasn't
Right.
trying to write songs about lockdown, you know. So for about a year and a half, I couldn't come up with anything good, and we kind of just like worked on what we had and did what we were doing. We were still like right when lockdown was like settling, we were started throwing shows at our local skate park and stuff, and that started becoming like a big thing. Every time we would do one, it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and that actually helped towards the hype of everything. So like
Hell yeah.
the first 2 years was like writing the album and then getting stuck in during COVID times or whatever, and then the last 2 years was finishing up the last handful of songs, which I think are the best songs on the album, and then finishing up everything like getting the vinyl, getting the artwork, making the music videos, doing all that stuff. Like that all took a while. Like our music video for reruns, that took me over a year to shoot because it goes through every
Oh
season of
wow.
the year. Yeah, yeah. If you check that out, that's on our
Oh
YouTube.
yeah, I guess it.
Did you see that one with the TV and it changes backgrounds?
No,
Um,
I saw it and it's on my queue, but like I was just laughing because I was thinking like, yeah, if you don't have like a big studio, you do have to be patient and just kind of wait like to do that. Like that's a long process.
yeah,
That's awesome.
our music video for Best Days, that took like a whole summer to shoot. Like a lot of these videos take a lot of time, but like we would release a single and then a year later we'd release another single, and then we started to actually roll it out like this past year. And then now it's been a big push the past couple months, just doing so much. Like we booked our own tour. We
Oh,
did all
nice.
like we did this release show that sold out. Like we're about to do a house party in a couple weeks. It's probably going to be just as big as the release show, and
Has the tour come and gone, or is it something that's still in the future?
that's happening right after the house party. That's our like kickoff date.
Awesome, dude.
Um,
Where are you going?
just like all just the tri-state areas, and they're
Yeah,
all it's all weekenders. So like we'll go and we'll play some shows and we'll come back, and then it's every weekend for 3 months.
that's very
But we
common right now. So,
Yeah, but we got 14 dates, so we're gonna be spreading out and doing that,
dude.
and also kind of drying up a little bit locally, so that when we come back, we'll come back with a bang.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I hope you guys are massively successful. I feel like you probably will be.
Thank you. Yeah, well, it's
Dude,
a grind. It's a grind, that's for sure.
yeah. Well, that's one of the dude. There's a lot of like negative stuff that's going on with music and the music like industry right now. But one of the best things about it is the ability to like let's say you needed to fly out. You could fly out. Let's say you're going to do Texas, right? You could fly into Texas and do just 5 days. Do like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and literally have like five big ass shows because we got Houston, Austin, Dallas, San Antonio, and you could probably do 2 days in one of them or something like that, or have a 4 shows, 5 days.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the beauty of right now. It didn't used to be like that, man. It's so easy to schedule this stuff. Maybe not like that easy, but it's far
it's
easier now than I remember it being 20
it's
years ago.
doable. It's doable because of the
Yeah,
internet. I didn't know how to book a tour until I recently just did, and like I just at first I was just hitting up a bunch of friends that I knew in other bands, but that didn't really pan out because they were all busy already. So then I just started like hitting up venues and finding like house show venues and like
yeah.
DIY venues, and just messaging all these venues in different states and landing dates. And then I'd have to dig through flyers to find bands from these towns that actually can draw. And like, so then I find all these bands, and then I'd ask a band like if they could do it. And if they could do it, sick. Or if they can't do it, I'll be like, yo, do you know any bands that could do it or would draw? And then
Right.
I just did that for each date, and I'm almost done. I still have like 2 dates that I still have to get like two bands for, but everything's like set in stone, like the dates and the venues. And we already announced the tour like day after the album came out. So
Dude,
that was
that's
a grind
awesome.
right there. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm watching one of the bands on my label do that right now. They're a band called Poppers out of Houston. You probably dig them quite a bit actually.
I saw them on your page when I was digging through your stuff.
Yeah, those dudes are awesome, man. I do it. It's so weird how I met those guys. I just parked behind them one night at a show and was like, "Hey, you want some help?" To their drummer because he was carrying stuff in, and he was like, and I was like, "Hey, I'm trying to be weird. I just thought you could use some help." And he's like, "Oh yeah, if you don't mind." So I carried some stuff in. Boom, now we're friends. I put out a tape for him. We're
Oh,
trying to do
that's
some
cool.
vinyl at some point. Like I made a bunch of their shirts for their little Texas tour they just did. So yeah,
Do you have a record shop?
yes.
Cool.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I was asking you about the vinyl. Why I wanted what I wanted was because I wanted to put some of it in there. I'm not necessarily when I come across somebody like you, and I'm gonna pick that up from you. It's not about making a profit. It's about giving you some money and having something cool that nobody else has. I have a pretty cool selection of stuff that nobody else in Texas is gonna have because of what I do here, and it's pretty awesome, man.
You
I
be
got
the
it's.
you would be the second record store to have our record. So there you
Let's
go.
go,
We
dude.
have
That's gonna be dope.
our local store has a couple copies that they're selling, and they let us play a little gig the day after our record came out, and so we're
Nice.
homies with them and stuff. And they're like a small label too, and they've been real helpful with introducing us with people, and yeah, they're real cool. So yeah, you'd be
Well,
the only other record store.
that's so dope, dude. That actually makes me feel kind of rad. That's what all
That
this is, though, man. Like that's what this is. We get to be friendly, and now you have a contact in Houston. I've got one in Connecticut. If I ever have a band going up there, I can go, hey, you guys want to play a show with my buddies, and you guys come to Houston. Hey, man, I'm hitting you up. We're playing Austin, San Antonio. Help me out. Yeah, for sure, bro. Like
hell
that's
yeah.
what all this is. It used to be so much harder because you had to like go do the stuff, almost certainly fail, but that's where you were meeting people. That is all done online now.
Yep.
It's pretty cool, man. It's really nice to watch young people learn this stuff and do it, man. It's just really cool.
And it's easier nowadays too because you can pay for ads in each little place that you're playing. You know what I mean? Like you just
Right.
set the ad into that vicinity. Throw $30 at each place. You know, it can't hurt. You'll make
Man.
at least $30 from the door, hopefully. You know,
You have already said so much stuff in what 30 minutes that makes me understand that you're going to be successful. And I'm not trying to dog anybody, bro, but I talk to a lot of bands and nobody seems to understand these things that are seemingly common knowledge to me and you. Like
Yeah.
they feels like it's common sense rather.
well, you know what's cool is even physical flyers are still a thing. Like I printed 250 physical flyers for for our release show, and that paid off. It was like
especially now,
$30
because who else is
doing that.
doing flyers? So if you do a physical flyer, people will take notice of that, man. I absolutely agree with you. You got a really good amalgamation of like old school, new school tactics and ideas. I think you're melding it together real nice, man. For sure.
I'm literally throwing everything at the wall. This is what I do full time. It's like literally there is no plan B. So I'm throwing everything at the wall right now.
That's amazing.
You know,
bro, I'm so happy for you. I don't even barely know you, bro. I'm so happy for you. It's unbelievable. That's
Thank
awesome,
you.
man.
Thank
yeah,
you.
for sure.
Mhm.
Let's see. First off, okay. I want to know where your musical influences are coming from, because like we've already established like what your band sounds like. If people are here from the video, they'll know already what your band sounds like. But it is a very particular sound. What are some of your favorite bands? What are some of the influences that you've got, and how did you decide to go with this particular sound?
All right, so yeah, it's mostly just like late '90s skate punk, just shit that I used to grow up skating to, like MXPX or
Let's go.
NoFX, old Blink-182, obviously. Like I would say if you took like Life in General by MXPX and Dude
Yep.
Ranch by Blank, and you put those together, like that's scooped up in a nutshell. But
You
there's
are not wrong.
there's dozens of other bands that I love too that are just like Phoenix TX, another great band.
Yeah.
Homegrown is another awesome band that I take a lot
I
of
know that
influence
band
from.
too.
Alistair, Newfound Glory, like
Oh yeah.
Sum
Oh
41.
yeah.
Like, you know, I can go on for days, but there's so many bands that like had that sound in the early 2000s, late 90s, and it kind of just like fizzled out. Like all those bands either changed it up, or besides MXPX, who are holding the torch for being like
Dude,
they have like not changed. Like
their
they
new
might
album
have
is
changed
great.
a little bit, but yeah, I agree. Their new album is a no skip. It's so good,
bro. It's a 10, bro. I'm so glad we're talking about that album. It's so good. When I heard it, I was a little like worried because I was like, man, I the second punk band I ever heard in my life was MXPX. And dude, don't get me wrong, I go down the rabbit hole, man. I like crust punk, street punk, all that stuff too. But I still love the stuff that got me there. And that stuff that got me there was MXPX, Rancid, NoFX. That's the stuff that I first heard. Life in General was like maybe the second or third punk album I ever owned. But their new one, I think, is far better than that.
I know, dude. I don't know if I'd say it's better, but it's definitely right there. Like it's neck and neck with Life in General, I'd say. And like, even the record they put out before that, I think it's just their self-titled. But that one is really good also with Let's Ride was on it.
See, my co-host told me to listen to that one. I hadn't heard it yet. I didn't know they were still active. I had my head in the sand for some years.
They've been holding the torch. They've been killing it. Like they might have changed it up a little bit back in like the early, like the late 2000s or something, like experimenting with some different shit. But like they're like doing their old shit still now, and it's like one of the only bands that can like that are doing it and can do it, and it's so sick.
Dude, getting those guys on the show is literally like a bucket list one for me, man. I got like 5 dudes that I'm trying really hard to get on the show that may never happen, but I'm trying to do Mike, Lars from Rancid, Fat Mike from No Effects, maybe Greg from the Bouncing Souls. Those are like these are some of like my lifetime love bands that I'll never ever not love.
Well, you know what you should do is try Yuri first. You know, try their drummer, and then maybe get Mike later on. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk to any of them, dude. I don't care. I love that band. So,
but as far as as far as DMing one of them, like Mike will never see your DMs, but like
probably not, huh?
The other 2 dudes
for real.
I know from experience, but the other 2 dudes,
sure.
the other 2 dudes do see them and they do respond.
Okay.
So yeah,
no, that's good. That's good. Like knowledge right there, bro. I didn't consider that. That's why maybe you were telling me that.
I've hit them up. I'm like, yo, let's play a show. Like, let's go on tour.
For
whatever.
real.
You know what I mean? If they brought us out, it would be the biggest thing for my band. You know what I mean?
Dude, you would go from relatively unknown to deciding what label to sign to within a probably 6-week span of time if you went on tour with MXPX. Because, I mean, I can think of like 4 labels that I think you guys would fit on. I think it'd be dope if you got on something with a little bit of money behind it, like Fat, because you sound like a 90s Fat band to me, sort of. Like, or at least a part of it is.
No, 100%. We would fit on Fat Records like a glove. Like, I just don't. And that's more of the label I think I would like to be on, just because it's independent.
Yeah.
And like you know, that or Pure Noise maybe. I'm not sure which one's
Pure
bigger.
Noise is good too. I'd say Fat's probably a little bigger, but by how much I don't know, and I could be wrong because I'm just an old guy that likes Fat Records.
Yeah, I think Fat Records is a little more niche in a way. Like it's got its huge audience, but at the same time, I don't think it's as tapped in as maybe Pure Noise is. But I could be wrong too. I don't know.
No, that sounds about right. So who are some of your favorite bands outside the obvious ones? Do you have any? Do you listen to any like street punk stuff, or you listen to only pop punk, or what else do you listen to?
Well, yeah, I like ska and shit, like Suicide Machines. Really
Let's
good.
go.
I like a lot of
Against All Authority.
I can't say I do. I can't say I know them.
If you like Suicide Machines, you should check them out, dude. They're good.
All right, so I probably have heard them, but I just don't. I can't say that I know their.
Sure, you've heard them at some point.
Yeah. And I like a lot of newer bands too, like Knuckle Puck or like Neck Deep or Koyo is really great. Have you listened to Koyo?
I haven't.
Oh, they're amazing. They're like they're a newer band that's just breaking now. That
is it Coil?
Koyo.
Oh, Koyo. No, I haven't heard them. Dude, my hearing's, 10, 15 years with a monitor to my left. I can't hear shit on my left side anymore.
I got you. No, yeah. No, you should check them out. They're really great.
I'll check them out. Are they, okay, I got to ask, their vocal style, what kind of vocals do they have? Do they have like that Neck Deep, Newfound Glory style vocals, or more like what you do and some Blink or something like that?
Koyo is more of like a melodic hardcore band in a sense.
Okay.
So they scream a little bit, but it's also very melodic, and they have some clean parts and stuff too. I can't really. I don't know how to explain it really, but yeah. Do you know Knuckle Puck?
I'm familiar with the name. I know I've heard them, but if you line them up with 3 other bands, I probably couldn't pick them out.
Yeah, because they're more like they're similar with like the Story So Far and like Neck Deep type of vibe, where it's very that type of like vocals, like kind of like yelly melodic.
Dude,
which like
I'm an old budgety fuck, bro. The Neck Deep stuff, I just can't get into it, man. Like, it's not like bad. Like, I'm not saying it's bad, but the vocals, I'm just like, man, if I was gonna listen to that, I'd rather just hear Newfound Glory because that's what it sounds like they're trying to emulate to me.
Yeah,
but
no, I was in the same boat when I first got into like Story So Far and like Neck Deep and stuff. I remember it put me off a little bit because I was like, this is pop punk, but it's not like the flavor of pop punk that I grew up with. It's not like
for sure.
They don't sound like homegrown and shit. But like, I eventually grew into liking it a lot, and it's its own little thing now. It's its own flavor and it's its own genre or it's its own subgenre. I should probably,
I'd say, give them a solid chance. I admittedly have not. I'm trying to find out what there is a newer pop punk band that I like a lot, and I'm trying to figure out what the name of it was because I want to tell you. I feel like you'd probably like them. Let's see. They're a little heavier. Let's see. Golly, if I heard the name, I would know it immediately.
You ever listen to Banner Pilot?
I do like Banner Pilot.
They're awesome.
I like that band.
So
yeah,
they're actually one of my favorite bands ever, and I'd say I take a lot of influence from them too.
Okay.
Even though they're more of a newer band in a
Let's
sense.
see.
But yeah, that's like a
Dude.
band that if they ever went and played a show, like I don't know what they're doing, but if they played a show, I would literally I would fly wherever the fuck they're playing. That's like how much into them I am, and I've never seen them play. So
Oh, dude. I mean, there's a couple of bands that I would fly to go see. I've only flown once in my life though. It was a few months back. I went to Vegas. I went to the Punk Rock Museum. The place is amazing.
did you go to when we were young?
No, so okay, so man, like 90% of that list I was not interested in. Man, I do let's how do I say this? I like Blink, but I like old Blink. I don't even like their self-titled album. I do not like it. I like old Green Day, I like Insomniac.
Mm-hmm.
Although that Father of All album, I don't understand the hate, bro. I just heard it for the first time like 2 weeks ago. I thought it was perfect. But dude, people hate that record.
Did you hear the new record, Saviors?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I feel like they have completely separated themselves from punk at this point, though. Between Father of All and the Saviors, they're no longer a pop punk band. In my opinion, that is not a declaration of whether or not they're good or bad. It's just an observation.
Yeah, but, well, they're old now. It is what it is.
Right, right. I mean, yeah, they're older than I am by a lot.
I went to that when we were young. I
went to
really? Both dates. Yeah, that's why when you said you were in Vegas and you went to the Punk Rock Museum, I thought maybe it was back in October and went because of the when we were young thing.
It was in October. It was the same week of that, which is what I was going to say. Is that so? On my podcast, I have one podcast, but I do 2 shows on it. I do one that's every week with me and my buddy Rob, and we met on YouTube. It's weird how we just became friends. He's like one of my best friends now. But he was telling me, I said, hey, man, I'm going on my first vacation. I'm going to go see the Punk Rock Museum in Vegas. And he was like, oh, that's awesome. He's like, when are you going? I was like, I don't know, man. First or second week of October, I think. And he was like, wait a minute, October? I was like, yeah. He's like, dude, you should push it back a week. And we ended up lining it up to where I got to go meet him in person and hang out with him. He went to the fest. I wanted to go do the Punk Rock Museum thing. So he went to the fest. I went to the museum, did what I wanted to do. And I like a smaller setting, really, is what it is. Most of those bands I would have went and seen if it was in a smaller setting. I was with my wife having a vacation. That's my first time ever traveling, so I was really more.
There was pop-up shows and stuff that weekend. I went and saw. I saw No Pressure and.
I think that's the band I'm thinking of, dude.
Yeah, No Pressure is the new pop punk band. Yeah, I forgot. I should have mentioned them. They're really good. I kind of drew a blank when I was trying to think of new bands I like, but yeah, No Pressure is the same singer as Story So Far. But he started like a melodic, like skate punk band.
Okay, I think that's the band I was thinking of earlier that I couldn't remember the name of. I think it's No Pressure. Wow, that was wild how you said that. It went right back in my head. Yeah, I wasn't scheduling that trip to go see shows really, and really what it was is if I was by myself, I would have done all that stuff. But I went on a vacation with the wife, and we just wanted to spend some time together. And I wanted to go see the Grand Canyon since I've never traveled anywhere. I was like,
I did the same thing.
Yeah. Did you? Yeah, bro. I got video. I stood on the edge with a selfie stick. It took video, like leaning up. My wife was like, "Would you please stop doing that?" I was like, "I have to do this. I'll never see this place again." But we were there for like 4.5 days. I won a little bit of money. We went to the Punk Rock Museum 3 times, bro. That's how freaking badass that place is.
Did you see? I remember Sum 41 like played in the Punk Rock Museum. Did you catch that?
No, man. I didn't catch any live music there. I went and saw. The Chris from Less Than Jake did a tour, and I snuck on the tour and did the tour and filmed it. And my wife I took all the photos for him and all the people, and they were like, "Who is this dude?" And I was just acting like I worked there, and Fat Mike was looking at me all weird. It was pretty funny because 2 days later I went back and had a guided tour with the Blue Intruder, and I got both of them on film. They're on my channel, dude. People can see the whole museum, man. It was cool. I talked to Fat Mike.
I love that band, Mass Intruder.
I love that band, dude. That's like one of my favorite bands. Have you ever listened to One Man Army?
I can't say I have.
You might dig them too. I'll send you a couple of links. I won't, fill up your inbox full of links to music, but I'll send you a couple that you might dig.
Go for it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mass Intruder are good. I got into them back in like 2016 or some shit when they were like coming out. I don't know if that's when they just were coming out,
but
yeah. I saw them at Warped Tour and shit. Yeah, they're good.
I made a shirt that has a picture of a dude in a ski mask, and it says, "I got a knife, motherfucker, stick 'em up." And I gave one to Blue Intruder when I was at the museum. He took it. He was like, "This is fucking crazy." He like on my video, you can see it. I walked in the room and I was wearing one, and he was like talking, and he just goes, "Ah, that guy." that's a bootleg shirt. And I was like, yeah, bro. He's like, I'll see you in court. And I was like, this guy's awesome. He's funny, bro. That guy's super funny.
He is funny.
But yeah. So okay, you said you skateboard, right? Who's your favorite skater?
90's. I don't know.
Oh man,
Yeah,
mine's Rodney Mullen.
I mean, Rodney is
old,
definitely.
Bro. That's my. I've loved him since I was like fucking 14, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Andy Anderson's probably my favorite skater currently. But yeah, I don't know. It varies. But yeah, Rodney's also obviously awesome. He's a kind of overkill.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, he's everybody's favorite skater. But
yeah, that's why I said Nodis, because the shit that Nodis did in the 80's like was just super sick. And every time I watch his like Wheels of Fire video, that just makes me want to go out and skate. And
I mean, shoot, Dwayne Peters is one of my favorite skaters, but it's not just because of skateboarding. It's just because he's Dwayne Peters. But like, yeah,
the vibe.
Yeah, everybody likes what they like. Dude, when I was like about 16 or so, probably 16. My dad was still alive, so I was probably about 16. I was at they were doing like a skate demo, and where I lived at, there was 2 skate shops across the street from each other. They were probably about 300 yards apart. They were close, man, but they were separated by this one big major street called Jones Road down in Houston. Mm-hmm. And they were both putting on events on the same day. It was the weirdest thing, man, but there was people freaking everywhere, right? And so all the signs are like, yo, come out and skate. They had a little like street park set up, and they had like a little mini ramp. It was cool, man. So I'm all hot, and I'm like, I'm gonna go inside and get a bottle of water. And my buddy's like, all right, cool. So I run inside. There's this, I guess it looked kind of like a bar, and it basically had bar stools, but it was where you put your decks together, build the boards and whatnot. And back then they had the bubble TVs and shit, and they had VHS tapes. They were playing videos, and so you could go in there and sit down and take a break from the heat. And I walked inside. There was a dude sitting with his back to me, and I walked in, and I kind of tossed my board, and it like hit the stool and then spins around and smacks this dude in his knee with like the trucks. And I was like, shit, man, I'm sorry, dude. He's like, oh man, you all right? And I said, yeah, you all right? He's like, yeah, I'm all right. I look up and it's freaking Tony Hawk, bro.
What the fuck?
Bro, it was Tony Hawk, dude. I couldn't believe it. I was so speechless, sick. Dude. I know, I was completely speechless.
Wait, what year was this?
Oh man, 98 maybe.
Dope.
Yeah, like, I was a kid, bro. This is definitely 90's before. I wish I had a camera of some kind, bro. He was so nice. He was very polite. He's always been kind of a nice dude.
Hell yeah. No, that's super cool.
Do you play the video games, the Tony Hawk games?
Yeah, of course. That's like where my music taste came from, almost.
Dude, for real. That game series is probably responsible for keeping, at minimum, pop punk alive. But I would just say punk rock in general was that was the life support it needed, man. It might have gone away. Yeah, dude. That was the only game that I ever played there very good that wasn't what I would consider an old school game. Like it's like Pac-Man, Galaga, and then Tony Hawk. I'm not a gamer, so I don't play games very well. I have a hard time with 2 joysticks. But
yeah, I remember that game got me into Goldfinger, and then that got me into more obscure. Yes. Like once I got into Goldfinger, and I'm like, wait, there's sick bands that aren't like as big as Green Day. Right. Like that are harder to access in a way. Like it made it cooler to like find them. And a lot of the bands that I got into were because of like just older. Like I used to hang out with like older kids when I was a real young ass kid. Like I was 8 years old, walking around smoking cigarettes and shit, hanging around with like teenagers and shit. But that's so like I would have older friends who would give me like mixtapes that they downloaded a bunch of shit from LimeWire, and that would have a bunch of like NoFX or some 41 or whatever MXPX on it. And that's like how I got into a lot of or Blink. Like that's how I got into most of those bands. And when I first heard it all, I would just think that it was all Blink, because it was all mixed labeled or wasn't even labeled. Yeah. And I'd be like, damn, this Blink CD is sick. And then years later, I'd find out that it was this band, and I'm like, holy shit, I have that song burned in my head because I've listened to it so many times thinking it was this band or whatever, And it's just funny how it's so easy to find music nowadays. You can just type in the lyrics. Right. When back in the day, I used to just watch the TV and wait for the music video to come on, Yep. And then I go buy the CD. Well, it's like so you're just young enough to where when I was younger, I bought I still have, check this out, bro. You like old Blink. This will probably blow your mind that I have this. But I used to get,
tapes and CDs and read the liner notes and stuff. But I would definitely like to talk about that for a second. But let's not forget about the fact that in the 90s, video game soundtracks were so good. I guess they probably still are. I just don't play games or anything now, so I don't really know. But back then, I think that's when it kind of started. Dude, you had like Crazy Taxi had, now I don't ever want to hear that song again, but it had that Offspring song where you could hear it in like an arcade. You go inside and hear the Offspring playing. Tony Hawk had that amazing soundtrack throughout the entirety of its, lifespan.
And just any random like ATV game or racing game, they all had sick fucking soundtracks. Yeah.
It was all those extreme sports games, like all the X Games stuff. They all had really, really good soundtracks. They had
dude, the Razor Scooter soundtrack, bro.
Wait, I can't tell if you're serious or not. Is that real?
It's real, dude. The stinky meat. What is it? The sloppy meat eaters. Some random obscure ass band that I found from that soundtrack.
I 100% thought you were just fucking with me.
No, yeah. Look up the Razor Scooter soundtrack, dude. Bro, it's on YouTube. It's fire.
I'm gonna have to, man. 100%.
It's got some gems.
Bro, did you see my face? I was like, I think he's fucking with me, man. Like that was like Razor Scooter game. Dude, check out what I picked up recently. So my shop, my record store, is in like an antique mall. So I'm only open on the weekends, which is perfect for me having a family and all. But I find the most random shit in that place, dude. And I was just kind of dicking around my other buddy who's like an old school classic rock guy. And he's like, hey, I got some cassettes. You like cassettes? You want to dig through these? And I found an old first edition.
That's sick.
Come on. Dude, my camera's not wanting to focus on it because there we go.
Yeah, that's
dude, it's an old ass, and it's in great shape, man. But
what's the cassette look like?
It's a clear cassette. It's in great condition too.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I remember getting stuff like this, and most of it was CDs. When past like 98, 99, it was mostly CDs. But dude, we would get these things and tear into them, and that's how you found everything, man. That was like our Bible, dude.
I know.
I can't imagine.
Just wait till I send you our CD. Like we went ham on the booklet and did a ton of shit because I used to love looking through booklets and just like
dude
looking at pictures and reading the lyrics and whatever, and just like I hated when bands like gypped out on it and didn't put anything in the booklet. So we put a lot of we put some funny jokes and some random shit in there. So yeah, when you see that, you'll get a kick out of it.
I'm gonna do a whole unboxing and breakdown and like album review. It'll probably be like a 20-minute video.
That'd be sick, dude. I'll share that all over the place. That'd be awesome. I appreciate that.
See, I mean, dude, that's homies helping homies right there, dude. If we don't share each other's things, I don't know, man. I hate whenever you have people that claim to be like a supporter and all you want them to do is like, hey, could you just like this video for me? And they're like, oh man, I guess. And you're like, well, look, if it's a thing, don't worry about it. I don't want to make you like feel obligated, but I thought you were a fan of the channel or you liked what I do. But yeah, man, I remember going through like, okay, so this is my favorite record of all time. All time, it'll never get a competition as far as I'm concerned. But I remember spending hours, dude, and it's like, it's not as if I didn't know what was inside this. I already read it 100 times, but I would still sit there and read it over and over and over. And you'd be like, oh, I forgot about that band. I'd rewrite it down in a little list, and I'd go through and try to find a song on a comp from that band, see if I liked them. Hey, I wonder if it's a ska punk band or if it's a street punk band or whatever.
Yep.
What's your favorite album of all time? Do you have one?
Shit, man, I don't know.
Do you have a favorite band?
I can't say I have so many favorite bands, and it changes. Like my first favorite band as a kid was Linkin Park, just from like watching MTV and like getting into like, or it wasn't even MTV. It was Much Music USA that turned into Fuse or whatever. But I used to watch that and I got into Linkin Park heavy, and then Green Day was like a favorite band of mine for a while. Like right when American Idiot came out, I was so into Green Day because I was like the perfect age for it. I was like 11 years old or something when it came out. And so yeah, I don't know. It goes through phases. Like Blink-182 was obviously one of my favorite bands for like, they still are one of my favorite bands, but they were like my favorite band for a while. And like Banner Pilot, which I mentioned before.
Yeah, I really actually like that band quite a bit.
Yeah, they're a band I could listen to every song and whatever. Like MXPX is another favorite band, and I've also went and seen all these bands so many times. Like I went to the When We Were Young Fest. I went last year, in the year I went to both of them or whatever. I went to Warp Tour for like years and years. I used to follow the Warp Tour and like promote like our band and shit.
Hell
So
yeah.
I've seen every band that went and played Warp Tour like dozens of times or whatever. And so I have so many favorite bands that I could just sit here and list them all. It's hard to just pick.
I think people are starting to be more like that. I found out as like the younger people that I speak to, they don't usually have an answer to who their favorite band is. Mine's always been Rancid since the 90s, so it's never going to change. But who I listen to on a daily basis does kind of fluctuate, you know?
Yeah, I was big into Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory and Meteora, but then after that, they changed it up, and I just wasn't into them too much anymore, you know? So they were big for me when I was a kid, and then that was pretty much
lyrically, they're really good in my opinion.
Yeah,
I've just never been into that kind of music particularly, but I would be lying if I said I never owned any of their music before. That's just untrue. I have, but
well, when I listen back to it now, it's a little corny, like some of the rhyming and shit, whatever. But like,
for sure,
it holds its place in my heart to where I listen to it with the nostalgic ears, you know.
Ain't no way I can sit here and call Linkin Park like corny and not be like, yeah, but Blink-182 is not like Enema of the State. Like that stuff's so cheesy, but I love it so much.
They know they're corny though. That's the thing. Linkin Park.
True. No,
Linkin
true.
Park goes up there with their tie and thinking that they're not corny and they being corny. Like I don't, or you know what I mean. I'm not even.
Yeah,
making a good example.
There's some self-awareness there with Blink-182 that's not there with the Linkin Park dudes.
Yeah, Linkin Park's going up there with a straight face, serious, taken seriously, and you know what I mean. And Blink-182, they don't want you taking them seriously. That's like with us, you know what I mean. We like to mess around and make jokes and fucking make funny content so that if we do mess up or do like I don't know, if anything we do is kind of corny, it's not fucking the end of the world, you know?
Right. Well, there's a certain amount of I think I don't know the word. There's some value there to not being so serious all the time. Like look at what Fred Durst has managed to do for his shit. You good?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a phone call, huh?
No, I don't know. It just stopped.
Oh, that was weird. Anyways, you look what Fred Durst has managed to do for his image and his career. He was always thought of as kind of weird. He even directed a movie that I really like called The Fanatic. But he came out and started wearing like these weird costumes and just not being this real buttoned up, tight ass. He started just being having fun, and people started coming around again and be like, "Oh shit, maybe I do kind of like this band." And I would say they're far and away the worst of that group of bands, but they're the one that I resonated with the most. They didn't take themselves serious.
I love Limp Bizkit so much. You know what's funny is like when I was a kid, I would watch MTV or I'd watch TV, like just music all the time. And one time Linkin Park video came on. I'm like, "Yo, mom, get me all the Linkin Park CDs." And she comes back with fucking Linkin Park and a Limp Bizkit CD by accident because she thought that it was Linkin Park. And I'm like, "Yo, this ain't Linkin Park." And then a half hour later, I'm like, "Yo, but it's sick." Like,
which one was it? Do you know?
It was Significant Other.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
And I love that album.
$3 Bill Y'all was like, that was a game changer for me. I thought, oh man, am I going to start listening to this kind of music? Like I almost got converted, man. I went and when that album came out, I think Significant Other is that the second one with Rollin' and shit on it? Yeah. So when
with Nookie and like break stuff and shit.
When that record was like popping, they did a tour with Cypress Hill, and it was free. The whole tour was free, and I stayed up in line for almost 36 hours with a buddy, my friend David, and we stayed in line to get free tickets to that show. And I ran into the Fred Durst and them in the hallway of the venue. Like I was trying to go find a bathroom. It was the weirdest scenario, but I mean, we didn't like talk or anything. I just kind of like literally ran into them. But yeah, bro, I stayed up all night, skateboarding, playing hacky sack, waiting in line to go get these tickets to a free show, bro. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's sick. Yeah, I really dove into them for like a couple of years later. Like, well, I was into them when I was a kid, just that one CD and like their hits or whatever. Then I remember like, like probably senior year of high school or some shit, I randomly just like dove into all of their music and just really got into them for like one winter. and that's when I really like got my appreciation for Limp Bizkit because they have so many. Their guitar player is amazing, and they just have so many.
Westmoreland is awesome.
They're like breakdowns that they do in the middle or whatever you call them, like they're whatever. They would do so many cool instrumental things in all their songs that just really like hooked me. you know.
Well, below the surface, they're a better band than you would think. Like they're not.
No, I
Just,
know. Yeah,
yeah, they got talent there. Yeah, dude, Wes Borland is actually a really really good guitar player.
yeah, he's amazing.
Like really good
He makes that band
for sure, for sure. I think Fred Durst is like you can't really replace him, but like Wes Borland makes them a band that you can put in the conversation of like, oh, are they great? Yeah, because this dude knows what he's talking about and he knows how to play and yada yada whatever. But yeah, I would argue that, bro. I want to get crucified for sitting here talking about Limp Bizkit being awesome. That's funny, bro.
No, you're good. I like.
Oh, I
I
don't
fuck
give
with
a
them
shit,
too.
man. So, what was the first year that you went to Warped Tour? Do you remember?
It was probably I went late, so like
Okay.
it wasn't until like I started playing guitar. It was probably like 2015. I think I was the first
Oh
year I
wow,
went.
that is late,
Yeah, for
dude. I went
whatever
in
reason, dude, I
'98,
just
bro.
yeah, like I could have went like probably when I was 14 or something, but I just never did. I the first time I went, I was like 21, I think. I just never went for whatever reason. I just did other shit. I'd go to shows. I'd go to Toad's Place and like other venues, but like for whatever reason, I just never did that. But as soon as I did, I would go every year and multiple dates. You know,
Yeah, you
just
go once, you're like, oh damn, I'm hooked. Like it's so fun.
yeah. Well, then I found out that you could like as a band, you can go in and work catering, and you get backstage, and you can get in for free every day, and all you gotta do
Oh,
is
that's
just
cool.
yeah, you just gotta donate an hour of your time to help clean up after after they feed everybody. And so like
Whoa.
all the small bands, that's what you do to like survive on Warped Tour, you know. So
Okay.
I would like follow the tour for like a couple dates, and that's what you do. You just show up. And it's funny, like once I did it, I didn't really like you don't even have any credentials. You just show up early as fuck when everyone else is showing up, and you just say like, "Yo, I'm here for catering. I got to see so and so backstage," and they let you right in. Like if you're there
That's
early, like
crazy.
they're not asking questions. Not a lot of fans are just showing up that early, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah. Like 8:30 in the morning. They're like, you wouldn't be up this early if you weren't doing something. So look, come on in. That's
and
cool
then
though that they
and they have a lot of people doing that, so it's nothing like new. But as soon
yeah.
as I knew that, like I wish I'd known that earlier because
Right.
I did that 2018. That was the last year that they did the cross country tour. But by
Yeah.
2018, that's when my band was actually like a thing, and we had CDs and all that shit that I was giving out. So I followed the tour like 5 dates in 2018, and just tried to get as much as I could out of it that last year.
Bro, there's nothing that I miss more about the summertime than Warped Tour. I went a lot of years, man. I went to a
Yeah.
lot of Warped Tours. I didn't go at any other cities because I couldn't. I just didn't have the means to do so.
Hmm.
But bro, I'm telling you, man, I went in '98, probably about 10 years straight without missing a year, and then I missed a couple here. Nah, yeah, probably like 2008, 2006, maybe somewhere 8, 9, 10 years, something like that. But dude, that was my jam. '98 was so crazy. If I hadn't gone to that Warp Tour, I might not even be like the dude I am today, bro. Like that was like a crucial. You should look up the
Hmm.
lineup for 1998 Warp Tour. It'll
I
fuck
have
your head up,
I've
bro.
looked up all those lineups. Yeah, I wish I was
Dude,
around then.
it
In
was
98
crazy.
I would have been 5 years old in 98, so I mean I couldn't have gone to that one.
Yeah,
But
I was 16 when I went. That was fucking nuts, bro.
yeah, I think Warped Tour was really like kind of losing its steam, or like not super crazy popular like in the 2010s, like 2008 to 2012 ish, which is when I was like in high school and shit. And what like that's when I would have gone, but I just didn't, like none of my friends were going to it. I just
Right.
wasn't a thing that like seemed access. I don't know. It just wasn't something I
Well,
would do.
everything takes dips in popularity. I mean, Ozfest used to be like the biggest thing ever, and that doesn't exist either. Like,
Hmm.
I would venture to say that the Warp Tour right now could make a very triumphant comeback. It could,
No, I
because I
agree.
mean, somebody was saying the other day, like, oh look, man, for Warp Tour, I used to go see this many bands for 35, $40, right? Now they could even raise the price to $100, and people like me would still go because that's a good value for $100.
It is.
Because when we were young, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of bands, but it's like you got to travel to it. You got to get hotels. So people like me, I genuinely, I just can't afford that, man. I've got 3 kids, bro. It just ain't in my cards.
I
But
know.
a hundred
I
bucks
went.
for an afternoon, that's something I could work out.
I went broke doing that shit.
I bet you did.
I'm still paying the price for that, but it was worth it. You know, I mean, I promoted the
Uh,
shit out of my band and had a lot of fun doing it too.
I definitely wouldn't have told you to not go if I'd known you, because I mean it's a pretty fun time, dude. Like, look, I didn't go, and I'm not hating on it. If I could have just gone and I would have, of course, I would have gone.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Who did you enjoy seeing the most? Was there anybody that you were like really amped to see besides the obvious Green Day and Blink stuff, or was there
Well, yeah,
was there
and
anybody you were?
MXPX
Oh, that's
played.
right. They were playing too, huh?
No Pressure played. That was awesome. Knuckle Puck played. I don't know.
Dude,
There
that was
was
a crazy lineup.
I saw like 20 bands or more that I would that I mean
So
Newfound
crazy.
Glory, Yellow Card, Good Charlotte, Offspring played. Like that was awesome as fuck.
Dude, I had Pete Parada on the podcast a little while back. That dude was awesome. He played drums for them for the Offspring for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That
I
band's
saw
really good.
Goldfinger played too, and I
Oh
went both
man,
days. I went both days, so I
did
saw
you?
all the bands twice. Or
Was
like
it
if
the
I
same?
did,
Yeah, it was the same lineup 2 days in a row, wasn't it?
yeah. But if there some bands did different things, like the first day, Goldfinger brought Tony Hawk on stage and he sung.
Dude, so ridiculous.
He sung Superman with them. But the second day
That's
they didn't do that. So like so they did different things happen like that, on different days. But I saw everything pretty much twice to make sure I can get it all in.
that's
But,
pretty badass.
what sucks though is by the time Green Day played, I was so dead both days that I literally
Oh,
just sat on the ground and just like took it in. But I've seen them play. I went and saw them, and I got pit tickets like years ago, so I got my Green Day experience then.
are you gonna go see them on this tour with Rancid and the Smashing Pumpkins?
Maybe I don't know if I can afford it. I know
Yeah,
I'm seeing Blink 182, but I got like the cheapest tickets. I'm standing in the fucking lawn. You know what I mean? At this point,
yeah.
I need to put my money into the band and not into fucking seeing other bands.
That's a smart answer.
But yeah, I would like to go to the Green Day thing. I'll probably do the same thing. I'll probably get the $60 lawn tickets for Green Day if they come around to Xfinity Center.
Dude, so I've got my kids are 10, 9, and then I got a 3-year-old. But my 10-year-old, my 9-year-old are starting to listen to music. It's probably about the age you start listening to stuff and you're aware of a band or something. So since I've been in this industry most of my life, when they were real little, I listened to punk rock around them when they were like, 1 and 2 years old. And so now they kind of like some of it and they expressed interest in seeing Rancid. And I cannot explain to you like the feeling that I got when they were like, "Hey, can we go see that Rancid concert?" And I was like, yeah, we can definitely do that." I was like,
Yeah,
"I'm on it, bro. I got
that's so
tickets
sick.
for." Yeah, bro. I'm telling you, that might be like that's one of like the great. Yeah, bro. I can't even explain. I've taken my daughter
That's
to a couple
awesome.
of shows, and she's really getting into it. And my son's the oldest, and he's autistic, so he doesn't really care about that stuff as much. So when he asked to go, I was flabbergasted, bro. I didn't know. I was just like, absolutely, man. So he's kind of a what do you call it when he's a shut-in, bro. He doesn't like to. He's
Yeah.
yeah. He
Hmm.
likes to sit by himself. He's introverted. Good grief, dude.
Yeah,
But
introverted. Yeah.
I
Well,
took
when he
my.
shows interest, that's cool. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
You ever heard of a band called Catbite out of Philadelphia?
Yeah, I heard of them, but I can't say I've heard their music.
So I'm pretty friendly with those guys, and took my daughter to go see them as her first concert. She really likes them. It's got a lady singer, and she was like, "I love
Hmm.
Catbite," and I was like, "I know those dudes. You want to go see them?" And she was like, "What?" And they put her on the guest list. She was all excited. She was 8 years old. It was so dope, bro.
That's so cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's sick. See, I wish I went
Yeah.
to more. I wish I was able to. My parents didn't really bring me to concerts,
No,
or
my
like,
mom was not with that shit, dude.
yeah, I wish I went to concerts when I was younger. Like, I remember when I was a little kid, when I was super into Linkin Park, I'd see their concerts, and I'm like, wow, that's like, they must be doing that in like Europe or something. Like, that's so out of reach. And then like later on, I grew up and I find out that fucking Xfinity Center 1 hour away, I could have been seeing
Right?
all these bands at, and like, yeah, I wish I had known because I would have gone to concerts more often.
What was your first show? Do you remember it?
Oh, it had to have been something at Toad's place, but I can't remember.
Is that the local spot down in what city in Connecticut are you in?
I'm in Milford, but it's real close to New Haven, and
New Haven's close to New Haven.
New Haven's like the main city, I'd say, in Connecticut.
Okay,
That's where like the good pizza is and shit, and
nice,
we're like famously known for our pizza out there.
dude. I love pizza so much. Oh my goodness,
So yeah,
bro, I love pizza.
yeah, me too. But yeah, so Toad's place is the place in New Haven that most of the big bands go to. But I've seen so many bands there, like Newfound Glory and fucking like I just recently saw Knuckle Puck and Real Friends. I think Koyo came out there recently, and I don't know. That's like the main place that I go to. I think my first ever concert though, I can't remember what it was. It was something at Toad's place though. It was probably it
Yeah,
might have been Newfound Glory or something.
is that place like a I don't know, like a 200-300 max occupancy place, or is it like a bigger spot? Is it
Pretty
like
big. I'd say it's probably 400 or 500
okay, so it's not
capacity.
quite a ballroom, but it's closer to that than it is like
Yeah,
a
it's
bar.
all standing room floor, and
Okay.
yeah.
I was just trying to get an idea what that place might be like in my head to compare it to somewhere in Houston. We had a place called Fitzgerald's. It was like a 2-story spot. It used to be an old house, but they converted it into this venue. And that's where I went my whole life. And then they just tore it down a few years back. Man, it crushed us down here. That shit was
Yeah, dude.
that was ass, bro. Everybody was like legit bummed about that shit,
Yeah, I hate when shit like that happens. And, like part of your childhood just gets
bro.
demolished, pretty much.
Yeah, it was so sad. I went to Dallas to see my first show. The only reason I remember it is because of who the show was. It was so monumental. I saw the original Ramones, Rancid, Soundgarden, and Metallica at Lollapalooza '96, and they all played full sets. It was nuts, dude. I mean, nothing could compare to that. I don't think. It
That
was
does
pretty,
sound sick.
dude. It was so ridiculous. Like I like Soundgarden. I thought like out of all the grunge bands, that's the one I like. Maybe because of that show. Actually, I don't really know why I like them so much, but and then obviously old Metallica pre '96, that was the good stuff. So that was a fun time. And the Melvins played the original Ramones. I mean, what am I talking about, dude? The original Ramones played there. So
That's sick. Yeah, they used to play at Toad's Place.
that's
The Ramones.
crazy,
Yeah.
man. You ever been up to like New York or anything? I say over to, I guess.
As a band,
No, just in general. I've never
Yeah.
traveled anywhere, so I've never been anywhere.
like New York City, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an hour away, so I go there all the time.
Is it that
Um,
close to connect? See, dude, I told you how much I don't travel. I didn't know it was that close.
It's like an hour and a half train ride. So
Oh, that's
I
not
go
too
to
bad.
I go to the city all the time and go to shows, and then I'll promote my band afterwards. Like we actually have like a
Okay.
pretty decent buzz in the city just because of that. Like I've gone to
That's awesome.
dozens of pop punk shows, and I'll be passing out stickers, and people will be like, "Hey, I've gotten this sticker already," and I'm like, "Yep, you probably
Yeah, here,
have."
take another one. Put them on both your cars.
Yeah,
Uh,
literally.
do you have other buddies that have bands too, or are you the lone band guy out of your group of friends?
Well, I've made a ton of friends just through the band. I'd
That's
say.
true. That'll happen.
But yeah, when I grew up, there wasn't anybody else that was in bands except like the people in my grade that were in bands. They were all in like hair metal bands that just kind of
Let's
like
go.
were just they weren't going anywhere though. Like they weren't
Motley
really
Crue
like
cover bands.
or it wasn't even that. It wasn't even like it was hair metal music. It was just that they had long hair and they were playing metal. This is kind of what I'm saying. I don't fucking know. I don't know what their music sounded like, but the people I grew up in high school that were in bands were in these bands that were doing nothing pretty much. And then when I was out of high school, I met other friends who were in bands that were kind of successful in a sense locally, and that kind of gave me an idea of what I wanted to do better. Then when I started my band, like I had an idea of what these guys were doing, but they weren't really putting their all into it and whatever. And I kind of saw like where they could do better. Like they never made a music video. They didn't do like barely any promo, all that shit. So like when I started my band, our first demo was just 3 songs we recorded ourselves, and we did a music video for every song, even though they were demos. And so like from the get go, we've been making content and just
That's awesome.
pedal to the metal on that.
Well, you can tell you're definitely from a different generation from me based solely on that, because you've talked about music videos and buying ads for your band a lot, and people my age may not do it the same way. I think it's brilliant. It's so affordable now to make a music video. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You can make it yourself, dude. You did it. Like,
Mhm.
not that I'm not saying that you couldn't do very complicated things, but if we can do it, anybody can do it. If I can sit here and make this stuff, anybody can. I'm
It
fixing
just
to do
takes
some stuff
time
for.
learning. Yeah, I'm just fortunate to where I started making videos and shit with my friends when I was a little kid. So like I've always been editing
Nice.
video like way before. Like I was doing special effects on our fucking high school like math project video,
That's dope.
and it like blew people's minds back then because it was not like how the fuck do you do special effects? And I
Right.
learned like nowadays it's way everyone kind of can grasp their mind around like facial recognition and shit and like sticking something on a video and like doing all that type of stuff because of like social media. Like you can just like the software that they have now is so much like more advanced that facial recognition or just tracking software has just gone so far than where it was 10 years ago or 15 years ago when I was doing it like in high school. So like
Yeah.
it was mind blowing to people in a way. I was mind blowing myself. I was like, holy shit, like this is super
Well,
cool. Just putting stupid special effects, just adding fucking like just making someone's head explode or like doing stupid like special effects like that. You know what I mean?
I mean,
And
I must be easy to impress because I I don't know how to do any of that stuff, man. I mean, I'm barely able to edit my videos sometimes. So I think it's smart that you got started young, and I don't know that you knew that's what you're going to do with it, but it was good to get that practice in early and learn a skill like that. It's going to pay dividends later when you're not having to pay somebody a lot of money, like you said earlier. Excuse me.
Well, yeah. Now since we're not spending money on someone making our videos, now we could put a budget into the video in a sense. Like our last two
Right.
videos that we put out, we shot on 16 millimeter film, and so we had to put money into like the film
Oh,
itself,
wow.
and then getting it developed and all that. And yeah,
What made you do that?
just because. So I've always been into film photography. Like
Okay.
I went to school for graphic design, and then I took some photography classes and did some film photography and darkroom stuff. And once I started doing that, we started doing some like promo pics on film, and ever since then we only do our promo, and any type of like any like official picture for the band is all gonna be shot on film. Like all of our album covers are shot on film, all of like everything, just because it has like a timeless look
Dude.
to it. Like all the album covers that you grew up looking at are all shot on film, so like
Right.
they have a timeless look to them. You know, compared to like if I took my phone and took a picture in 2010, you can tell that it was a picture from 2010 because of the digital quality of it. You know.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that.
So it was always a dream of mine to do music videos on film, because a lot of the videos that I grew up watching, like you ever listen to Gob?
Oh shit, it's been a long time, but yeah, no, God.
Yeah, so like all their original videos are all 16 millimeter film shot
That's cool. I didn't
videos,
know that.
and 16 millimeter film is like the student, like back in the day, like students going for
Yeah,
filmmaking
it's like the
would use
practice
that.
film, basically.
It is, yeah, yeah, and it's got like a very gritty look to it, but it also carries the same characteristics as actual 35 millimeter film, which is like the amazing colors and like the the dynamic range that film has. Like with if I took my phone and I brought it out, or I went upstairs and it was a sunny day and I held it towards the window, it would be blown out. Like if I took a picture like with me in front of the window would be blown out and all white, and I would be
Right.
exposed, or I'd be a silhouette and the window would be, you know, exposed. With film, you can expose both of those at the same time, because
Yeah.
it's capturing each piece of light on film grain, which is amazing. And like that's something you need to spend like $30,000 on a really good digital camera to do the same thing with. And that's why
It's
film is
pretty interesting.
yeah, film is like almost never it became obsolete because people didn't thought that digital would have been better, but in a way it took away a lot of life from a lot of movies and shit that people shoot now.
I mean,
know?
I agree with that. There's pros and cons. There's to both. I mean, my best friend's gonna think it's badass that you shot that on real film, dude. He's a film guy, man. That's like I can't show you. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can make this happen, dude. Look at this. This is just the amount of my movies that I'm fixing to sell, dude. This is gonna blow your mind. Let's see. Can you?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
That's.
look at that.
Let's see. Look at the stack of movies, bro. It's freaking enormous. And
Yeah, see,
that's just
I'm a
the
big
ones.
movie guy too. I've always grown up watching tons of movies, and that's where I get a lot of my like my vibe, I guess, you know, and a lot of my music
What's your
taste too.
what's your favorite movie? Do you have one?
Um, I can't say. I don't know. Fight Club is probably my favorite movie,
Great
but
movie. Great book too.
I really like a lot of Quentin Tarantino's movies. I like Kevin Smith's movies.
Dude,
Um,
Tarantino's my jam, bro.
yeah, all those movies are great. Like I love just I don't know. I like a lot of movies. I like all the American Pie movies and that type of vibe of like comedy teen type movies
I mean,
of
I'm
the
not
early two
surprised to be
thousands.
honest.
You know, like Super Bad or like fucking Pineapple Express. All those movies I love. You know.
Those are both classics.
Yeah, yeah. I love '80s movies too. I'm big into like Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Fast Times, and you know, I'm a big movie guy.
I like horror movies mostly. Is what I like to watch.
I'm big into those too. Like
You ever seen Terrifier?
what's that about? I don't think
It's
I have.
about the clown is in black and white, doesn't speak, and he just murders people. There was the second one came out in theaters last year and kind of a big deal. Actually, I said last year, it might have been 2022 actually. But anyways, it's a Art the Clown. It's I don't think I have it in within hands reach right now, but it's a black and white clown, doesn't speak. It's real 80s style, but it's real vulgar and gruesome.
I'll look it up. I can't say I've heard of it, but yeah, I'll look.
You might dig it.
Yeah.
It's definitely, it's an acquired taste. You may not like it at all.
No, I'm
Dude,
digging horror and shit too.
That's awesome. Oh man. Well, shit, dude. Oh wow, it's been 80 minutes. That was fun. Do you have anything before we go that you want people to know about your band or friends' bands or whatever? And what is currently on your playlist? Like if you were to pick up your phone or whatever right now and listen to some music, what would you pick out right now? Or like what would be like in queue?
I'll answer that now. So it'd probably be Koyo's new record, Would You Miss It? Knuckle Puck's new record, and MXPX's new record also. I'd probably play all those. And then what do I want people to know about my band is that we just released a record called The Runs. It's on vinyl. It's on Apple Music and Spotify. We got music videos on YouTube. Just go to scoopedupband.com to see all our updates or follow us on Instagram. That's where we're most active on Instagram. And that's pretty much it. Lots of shit in the works, so stick around. Dude,
man, I appreciate your time, Jimmy, dude. It's been a blast, man. I think you got a fan for life here. I appreciate
that, man. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. I would like to keep in touch. If you do, maybe after you go on your tour, once it's like completed, if you want to jump back on and talk like post-tour, some of your experiences and just tell some stories, I'd love to have you back on. Once I get the stuff in the mail from you, I will be doing a full unboxing breakdown of your album and album review, and I'll post links and everything for everybody to check it out, man. So you guys out there, if you're messing with me, mess with them, dude. Go check out Scooped Up. Like you said, all their stuff streaming everywhere. Check out the YouTube channel, Instagram, all that. If you're anywhere near Connecticut, go try to see them live. If you guys come to Texas, I will 1000% be there.
All right. Yeah, we'll be there one day, dude. And I appreciate it. I appreciate you, man.
That's awesome, man. Thanks a lot, dude. Keep in touch, man. I'll talk to you soon, Jimmy.
For sure. Thanks.
All right. Later, man.